thought it would be good to have a conversation with myself. Sometimes things happen in life and you just realize that you're not doing as well as you think you should be. Or you realize you're not doing as well as you thought you were. And I quite often find that these things happen just before you want to do something that you are unfamiliar with, or that you will find a challenge, or that's going to stretch you a little bit, or that's outside of your comfort zone. Those times when you really need all of the self-belief and the self-worth and the encouragement to embark on what it is you're about to embark on. And then something will happen to knock that confidence. Certainly for somebody like me who doesn't have a very high confidence level, it doesn't take a very big knock. And the strange thing about myself who doesn't have the confidence, it's not that I don't think I can't do something well, or it's not that I don't think I can apply myself. It's having the confidence to do what I think I could do quite well. Or whether that be in business, whether that be parenting, whether it be in being a husband. I have great intentions and really good ideas and know-how on how to achieve those things and know that I could be good at them. But actually the lack of confidence means that you don't do it and you don't apply what you think would work really, really well. So certainly in my case, being having a lack of confidence isn't having a lack of knowledge or the thing that I could do it. It's actually not doing it. It's putting yourself in the position to find out whether what you think you can do, you can actually do or not. And maybe it's a fear of failure more than a lack of confidence, that if you apply yourself to something and it doesn't work, then that reflects on you. And when you start off from a place of low self-esteem and low confidence, then putting that out there and then doing something that you may fail at, I find really difficult. I find that really challenging. Because I think you come from a place of such low self-worth, which is actually slightly different to self-esteem and even confidence, because self-worth attacks for me even before then. Self-worth thinks that even if you do a great job and even if you apply yourself really well, nothing good will come of it, because you're not worth anything good happening to you. You are worth the toil, and you are worth the work, and you are worth the time and the effort. You're worthy of doing that, but you're not worthy of getting a result for that. And so I find that you can apply yourself really well, but the expectation is that it will not go well. And it's a really difficult thing to come out of. And I have found over time that it does come when you do the same thing over and over again. So you really realize that actually I am able to do that. And because I can, let's just say exercise, for example, because I can apply myself, I know that from past experience that if I apply myself, there will be a result. I will get fitter, I will get faster, my endurance will increase the more I do it. That is an absolute. And the better I apply myself to that, the better the results are. The thing is that if I am training for, let's just say for example, a race, I believe that I can put the preparation in and I can train correctly and I can see those increases in endurance and speed and fitness, but I always think that there will be somebody that is 4 times better than I am that will turn up. So although I get the increase in fitness and result, I don't necessarily get the result in the race that I'm after. and that's because I feel like you don't deserve it, which is not correct, because the other people in the race have also put a huge amount of effort in, have also done a huge amount of training, biologically could just be more advanced and better at what it is you're applying yourself to. So it has no relevance on whether you deserve it or not. In fact, deserve comes in nothing, doesn't even come into the equation at all. The only thing that really comes into the equation is, I was here when I started and I am now here. And that should actually be the way that we define ourselves, is, am I better than I was yesterday? Am I better than I was a month ago or a year ago? But I think we live in a world where we are constantly shown these examples of incredible things and feel like we need to live up to those. But actually, we don't know the circumstances that those examples we are seeing are in. Let's just take, fitness or athletes for an example, right? We look at people that are at the top of their game, that are top 5, winning, and we think that's a great example of an incredible athlete. We very rarely take into consideration, unless we're having a conversation about it with somebody else. But when I have a conversation with myself, I very rarely take into consideration that that is their full-time job. That is how they get paid. They don't have to fund it some other way. They don't have to have a full-time job and to take care of that, let alone relationship and children's status. But just from a job perspective, they are often paid to do that. And I think where it gets challenging is that obviously they may have been in a situation at a time where they weren't paid to do it, and they put in that hard work in order to get there to do it. But certainly from where I sit, you look at them and you compare yourself to them and you go, not good enough. And that creates a real identity challenge. That creates a self-worth challenge. That creates a measurement challenge, because if we are forward-thinking people and we're always looking at those as an example of who are doing really well, then that is what filters into our example of success. And therefore, winning Unbound Gravel race is the success. Just completing Unbound Gravel would be a success. And that's why I guess what I'm trying to work out with myself is that how do we measure ourselves in order to challenge ourselves, in order to measure and reflect on our successes, in order to not be too harsh on ourselves constantly, and in order to accept that we will never win Unbound. But that's not the measuring stick. There's only one winner of Unbound. And out of the thousands of people that do it, there's only one winner. And if that was our measuring stick, we live in a world where there's a huge amount of disappointment and depression. And I think that is, partly an issue that we have as people in general, but obviously I'm a man, as men in general, and that is that we are constantly measuring ourselves against unrealistic expectations. And what we should consider a victory is that I was here yesterday, and I'm here today, and I will be there tomorrow. And I would argue that looking at over a longer period of time, like a month or a year, is probably even better. The goal setting and the achievement side comes in short bursts. So if I want to get fitter, I need to train 3 times a week. Every time I train, I can tick that off as a success. The change will only come over months and years. But the immediate short-term success is the doing the single day. And the irony of it is that in order to achieve the year's advancement, I have to tick off the days. But it's a real challenge. Certainly for me, it's a real challenge. I just think it is incredibly difficult to measure what a successful man or person looks like. And I completely understand that that can vary from person to person. But for me, I need to work out how to do that. I need to work out how balance is success. But in order for you to be balanced, you can't be the examples that are being set for us. You can't be the perfect athlete. You cannot be you can't be the perfect entrepreneur. You can't be the perfect father. You can't be the perfect husband. It's an unrealistic expectation. And yet somehow we feel that we should. And we feel that the expectation is that we should be perfect at all of these things. My challenge to myself is that I get better at each and every one of them. And that be my measuring stick and what I strive for. That next month I'm a better father, I'm a better husband, I'm a better athlete, I'm a better businessman, I'm a better friend than I was this month. And that would be success. That would be healthy, homegrown. I don't know where homegrown came from, but that would be a healthy success. That I'm better at all of those things, and therefore I'm living a successful, balanced life. I'm such an all or nothing person, and that is not balance. You may see success in a certain thing, but it certainly is not balance. Anyway, I guess the summary or the conversation or the point to myself is that be better tomorrow. And if you're better tomorrow, you'll be better in a month. And if you're better in a month, you'll be better in a year. At each and every one of those little things, small steps. If I'm not doing any exercise now, and I do it twice a week, I'll be better in a month. I will be healthier. I will be fitter. If I consider my wife first today, and I do it again on Thursday, and I do it again a day after that, by the end of the month, my wife would have been considered first 5 or 6 times more than she was the month before. If I take that time to sit with my children and give them my full time, even if it's just for 5 minutes today, and 5 minutes on Thursday, and 5 minutes on a day after that, by the time we get to the end of the month, it's an hour or two we had together that we didn't have the month before, of undivided attention. And I always think that sometimes in order to give my children undivided attention, I need to go and give them an hour each today. And that's just not practical. It's just not possible in my current circumstances. But if I give each of them 5 minutes today, 3 times a week, and I do that over the month, it's an extra hour they've each had that they never had with Dad before. So I guess what I'm trying to say to myself is a little bit better tomorrow will mean a lot better in a month, and arguably very, very different and better in a year.